Then L. So what was the last class download? Your class. So we have seen last class about the work to connect with the DB2 and run the system with the data connections on the DB2 side. What we will see today is if I have a file, how it is to be done. Google CSES class 7. So in here we have something important to talk about. So the vsum file concept. We know from the very beginning data is either stored in a file system in the mainframe or it would be in the database. Database mostly we learn DB2 part, we are done with that. Now in the file system we were having two kinds. One is the QUISM system. This is a sequential file. This is always a sequential case. In this we have the PS file and PDS. Of course we used only PS for data. Then the other one, what we have is the vsum file, virtual storage access method service. I don't want to write it, but in here we have different options here, not just sequential, but there are different options. Now, before we directly write the COBOL program for the file, first we'll understand what kind of files we have. So in vsum, we have a file which we call them as clusters. In vsum, the files are known as cluster, and whenever I use a word cluster, they actually contains two components. One, the data component, the file of data component, and a file of index component. And of course, it's not required to be there for all the clusters, but whenever you hear a word cluster, it is actually meaning contains two files in it. So basically you need to imagine like this T3, T4 dot some account file or account cluster. If I say here, just like your GDG type, you'll be having two more files under it. One will be your data component. The other one will be the index component like this. This is how you need to see the vsum file of a cluster containing both data and index. So in this, there are four clusters. In the vSAM, there are mainly four clusters what we have. The first one is the ESDS. Second one is the KSDS, which we will be learning. Third is RRDS, and fourth one is the LDS. Now, when you come to the ESDS, it's much similar to the PS file, a non-indexed file. Non-indexed here, and it's like more like a PS file. Okay, more like a PS file where you can do the organization of the file will be sequential. Organization is sequential, and even the axis is also sequential basically for the batch. Of course, you can do a random access. You can do a random access if you have the knowledge of the RBA value, what we call it as relative byte address. What we call this as relative byte address. Now, using this relative byte address, you can access a record randomly online. For batch, it is only sequential, one by one. But for online, you can also access randomly, but you should know the address of the record, which is not possible. Okay, which is not possible. So users cannot use this. Why? Because user doesn't know which record is at what address. Even I don't know. So we cannot use ESDS clusters for your online application. That is a point of knowledge. Then you have the KSDS cluster, which is an indexed cluster here. And in this case, you'll be using a key field to the file. We'll set a key field here, and this one, the organization of the file will be indexed, and the axis, you can access the file in sequential, that is one by one. You can access the file in a random also, that is the particular record, and you can access through dynamic method as well. For a KSDS cluster, you need a key field. So the random access is through the key field. The random access is through the key field. So if you will have a key field, the user can access it. This is the only reason. Okay. If it is a batch system, you don't need VSAM file. PS file is enough to do the whole data processing in the system. But when you come to the online system, the user is required to see a certain data that he wants. Now it could be a random record, it could be a sequential record. But if it is a random concept, we cannot use a PS file there. It is not eligible to use for random access. So the only best file that you have is the KSDS cluster, key sequence dataset. Only these files are used for your random access. No other files are interested here because others are not eligible as well. Like this RRDS relative number. This is also like an subscript number, guys. This is based on the number of the record here, and obviously you can access in sequential. You can access this file random also. You can access this dynamic also. But problem here is user do not have knowledge of what is the record number is, what is the number of that record to fetch. So here also we are not able to catch up the point. What we have here is the LDS. This is linear data set, and you can forget about this because I never seen anywhere it is getting used. I never seen anyone asking a question on this topic also. In your project, guys, if it is a QUISM, you will be using both PS and PDS extensively. If it is a VSUM for a batch or online, the only friend you have is the KSDS cluster. Okay, any questions here? But I want to try to tell you guys, out of so many files, why KSDS cluster is used in online. The reason is the user can only know the key value of the record. User doesn't know the address of a record. User doesn't know the record number of the file. So obviously, whatever user can type, that's what we will be able to provide. So KSDS cluster is the only one to give in here. Any questions? Now, when you know that it is a KSDS cluster, now when you know it is a KSDS cluster here, so the first step itself, okay, before you use, the first step itself is to create the cluster. You need to create the cluster. That you can do manually if you are having access by using 3.2V, by using the option define cluster. But you can also do through job by using the utility ID camps as well. Either way, you will be able to create your cluster. But when you are creating the cluster, some of the key things that you need to give is name of the cluster, obviously, that you can give. Name of the data component, generally it will be the same. Okay, the name of the data component index will be same, just the last two tags will be added by the system only. So the data component, index component name will be just the same, just the last things system will add it. Once you give the name, generally you need to give the space allocation as well. So in here as well, you can choose the track or cylinder. You know the same thing here, track or cylinder, primary and secondary quantity. Now one thing also you need to know here is the primary quantity is having same formula 1:1. Secondary quantity is very high in the VSUM clusters. If it is a PS file, if it is a PS or PSUM, if it is a PSUM system, the secondary quantity will be 1:15 only. But for the VSUM clusters, system will take 122 times. So you give lesser space for SQ also, it is enough. If you give lesser space to secondary quantity also, that is fine. System will get more than 100 times of space. But if it is a QUISM file, it is only multiplied by 15. So you need to give a bigger space for secondary quantity. Now, after giving the quantity and size here, you need to mention the record size or record length. The record length has 2 points. What is the average length and what is the maximum length? Generally keep it same. Keep it same here. So you write 10 and 10. This is a fixed file. This is a fixed block file. If it is different, okay, if it is different by 4 number like this 4 size, then it is a variable cluster. A fixed cluster and a variable cluster will be given by the record length or record size. And the most important parameter is the keys parameter. This one contains the length of the field and offset. Generally offset is nothing but, when you talk about offset in this context, offset is the starting position of the field minus 1. Offset is the value which will get when you do a negative of 1 for the starting position of the field. Suppose if it is the customer number and this is a first field of x of 5, let's say it is x of 5, then your keys parameter will be length comma offset like this. If it is your second field, okay, let's say it is the second field, immediately second field is there. After that it's like x of 10 suppose, then you will be keys having a parameter of size 10, length would be offset would be 5, starting position minus 1. Now other than this, to tell the type you need to write indexed here. This is the type of KSDS. And there are few more things guys, that you can give free space here, control interval size like multiples of 5 to 12. Like you don't have guys, this is like your block size, okay, this is like your block size in VSUM. In VSUM we don't use blocks, we use control intervals. So control intervals, what is the size, not instead of block size, what is the size of a control interval? So it will be multiples of 5 to 12 there, multiples of 5 to 12 here. Clear? Any questions?
Like customer ID, how it becomes 10 comma 5 5?
Yeah, offset value. You need to see this one, offset value. So since this is a second field starts in the 6th position, right?
Okay, okay, yes.
Second field starts in the 6th position here. So we are considering that as 6 minus 1, 5. You got it? You can combine multiple variables and create one key also. Like you can create a subgroup of 3 variables, first 3 variables. You give the starting position 3 and length of all 3 variables as the key. That is also fine. Not only one field required, you can combine multiple fields and create one key also. Got it? Any questions here? This is your first point, guys. This is your first part, which
Anil,
will be created.
is there any concept of continuous keys also there? Like, um, I during an interview I got this question like, if I'm defining a key from 1 to 20, can I define from 20 to 30, or I mean, can I define random keys, like, or I have to define only continuous keys? So, is there any concept like that? I didn't understand the question. What exactly they were asking?
No, it's okay. There is no such thing called like you can, if there is a field columns of ABC, okay, you can create a key of A or AB or ABC only. Okay, you cannot create a key directly like A and C. That's not allowed because in the keys position there is only two options you given. What is the starting and what is the length? So you can have one A field and create a key, or else if in this case, if you want to create a key of two fields together. So the keys parameter will be length will be 15 starting from 0. This is okay. This is like you have both customer ID and number as your total key. This is fine. This is allowed.
Okay.
But
So I
if
cannot combine multiple keys from multiple position. I mean, multiple
no,
fields from multiple positions.
no, not possible because we don't have that syntax here. We
Okay. So
don't have
it's
that
like
syntax.
only continuous positions we can combine into a key.
Right. And moreover, you can add a point that if any other column or field you want to create a key, you need to use the concept of alternate index. There is another
Okay.
topic called alternate index where you can create another key for a same file. Generally, you are creating another index for another field. Got it?
Okay. So there we can define like combine multiple fields from multiple
I
positions.
don't think combine is not possible. Key syntax is
Oh,
same here and there also.
okay. So it's like only one key or that like that we have to define.
Sequence. You just need to have side by side,
Okay.
not somewhere else. You can have A, B, C as a key, that's fine, but you cannot have A and C as a key. Clear?
Yeah. Okay, Anil. Yeah, got it.
And of course, we'll never do a key. We will not put a non-key in a key field, right? That's not
Yeah.
possible.
That. Yeah.
Any other question, guys? So basically cluster creation is one-time step, guys. Okay, you don't need to create a cluster daily in an online system. You'll be creating the cluster only one time and will be using that again and again. If you delete the cluster, the people online who are using, they will not able to access the data in a certain time, which we don't do, guys, which we don't do generally. But if your project is doing, they might be telling the customers not to use in certain times when the process is running. So there they may get that intimation already. But anyway, so once you have the cluster, guys, now I want to write the COBOL plus CSES plus the KSDS program. Now for that, guys, the changes, as I tell you, ID division, guys, no changes. Now the interesting part is the environment division. So in environment division, guys, not used at all. Okay, do not define anything here. Do not define anything in here, even if you have a file also. For online programs, environment division has no meaning, guys. Then go to data division under the working storage section, guys. Okay, under the working storage section related to CACS, you know, you will be adding your symbolic map. You'll be having DFH AAD copybook and DFH BMS CA copybook and any other copybook you want. But if it is the file, you should be adding in the working storage section, guys. Using copy statement, use the file layout here. Not in the file section, guys. Not in the file section. Your copybook of the file will be in the working storage section now. Okay. Don't put it in the file section. Don't think to be putting in a file section. You will be writing unnecessary batch program there. For online program, you don't define the file in environment. You don't use file section also. Directly in the working storage section, put a file copybook required. If it is a small, type it. Then go to the procedure division. The procedure division in your main para. Now, when you want to access the file, okay, if it is a batch program, if it is a batch file program, guys, what we did, we used the COBOL statements to open, read, or write, or rewrite, or delete, and then close. Now, guys, I'm writing a COBOL CSS program here. In this case, we use CSS commands, not the COBOL statements. Okay, we will not ask the COBOL to help it. We'll be using CSS open command, read command, write commands, rewrite command, all other commands as well, delete, and related to browse also. Browse commands will be there, and then close. So these are all CSS commands, guys. Similar, the knowledge will be same. When I say read, it will only get a record, guys. When you say write, you will be putting a record. That top of point of knowledge, guys, is same. But instead of writing a COBOL syntax, you need to use a CSS command there. You need to use the CSS command. So basically what we do, we first open the files, then we do the file operations or data operations, and then we close the file. This is what we do in the batch systems. But in online system, guys, online systems not required. You don't need to open the file. System will open it. System can open file for us. Okay, you don't need to mention any file opening command in the program, guys. The files will be opened automatically when your program starts the execution of the statements. Same thing here, no need to close also, not required here. The system knows, system can close when you give a written command. Okay, when your written command is there, it will close it. You only need to write the file operations, guys. No need to open the file, no need to close the file. You can do if you are insisted by any reason. Okay, if somebody insisted to write a open statement or write a close command in your program, then you can write if required, but basically we don't write it. The system can open the file, so the system can close the file as well. Now, when it comes to the file operations, guys, in here there are 5 types of operations we do. The first one is the easy one, read operation. The second one is browse operation. Then we have the other operation like write, rewrite, delete. You already know what is read and write and everything we'll do, but there is a confusion starts with these two fellows. The first thing what we'll learn is the read command. This is used to get a record from the file. Okay, very good. Now in here, guys, this is only used for random access. Random access only. That means you will be getting, you need to, okay, for this command, we need to provide the key value of the file. Then only it can work. Read command, guys, is a random read only. It won't go sequentially. Okay, it will not read the second record automatically, guys. You need to provide the record number, then only the key value of the record, then only it will get the record. The read command will not go sequentially. If you run the same command 2 times, system will get you the same record 2 times, but it won't go to the next record. In the file of batch, when you use the COBOL read statement, it was sequential, guys. But in here, the read command, what you have in the VSAM of CSCS, it only gets one record in a random way. So for that, you have to write like this: exit CSCS. Before that, move 1, 2, 3, 4 to the key value, key variable, something like this. Exit CSCS, read file, give the nickname, 8 characters. Okay, 8 character nickname here. When you are reading, you'll get the data. So read file name into your file layout, the copybook. Now what I need to read, for that you need to mention RID field. This is the key field. You need to mention here the key variable, what you want to read. Okay, RID field. This is called as record ID field. So this is your key field, guys. This is your key field, what you need to provide a value before like this. You need to move if it is in a file variable or a table variable or your map set variable, move that variable to the key field and then the key variable to be used for the record. Now, when you are reading the file, guys, there is a chance that the record might be present. There is a chance the record might not be present. So what you need to do, you need to catch the response code. Okay, you need to catch the response code like this, WS response code. So system, when it runs the command, it will give the result to this fellow, end exit. Now what you need to do, you need to check the response code here. You need to check the response code. If it is normal, then we got a record. We got the record. But if it is a not found case, then you need to handle with an error message saying that record not found. And of course, you may get some other errors, any other errors, like you may get IO error or disabled or the invalid request. You may get another case like the file not open. Okay, not open like this. For all these cases, based on the situation, you better actually append the program here. Maybe the file is not open, so it will be getting corrupted problem for all the users. So you need to manually open for some cases. Such cases you need to handle with an append here. If it is an inquiry screen, that's fine. You can append and you can make the file ready and use it. So it won't affect the data. So when you are reading, it is only for random read. You need to go with the key field value here. Questions? Opposite guys, quite opposite here, the browse operation. So browse operation guys is used for sequential and also random as well, or random access as well. In this guys, it is something like dynamic access. It is like dynamic access guys, where you can do both sequential and random. For this, what you need to do is there are other commands to learn. First step is to go for place the pointer to a record. Okay, to a record. For that, you'll be using a command called start br. Exit css start br. This is the command. Mention the file name here. Mention the file name start br. File name, same thing. RID field. Give the key variable here. Give the key variable here and exit. So this will only place the pointer to a record, guys. It won't read it. Now, if you don't provide, if you don't give the key value, if you don't give the key value, system will point to the first record. System will point to the first record pointed here. If you give the proper key value, the pointer will be set to that record. But it is not getting the record, guys. It's just set the record. Second step, what you need to is get the record. Get the record from the file. So after setting the record pointer, you need to use exit css, read next or read previous. These are two other commands. Same file and then same syntax into the layout. Here, and same catch up, like response code will be the same. Response code here and exit as it is, same thing here. Mostly what happens, you'll get normal case when you get the record, or end file you get when you reach to the end of the file, because you are reading sequentially, right? You're reading a sequentially top to bottom. At some point you'll end up with end file, so you can handle the errors. Rest everything will be again same, like the file may not be opened, or the browse operation is not enabled, or you are doing a read without start br, or the file is not opened. Some reasons you may get these cases, you need to append it. But if you are getting normal, then you got a record. If you are getting an attend, that like end file, then it is to end of the file. So what you do, simply send an error message. Send error message that no more records, or end of the file, no more records here, like this. Either you can use read next or read previous. As you can see the words, when you go for read next, system will read the record and move the pointer to the next record. And if you say read previous here, the system will read the record and move the control to previous record, like this. You can read the file up and down, guys. You can go forward, you can go backward as well by using these commands. The user may press F8 to come down, user may press F7 to go back also. So for that, these keys are used as F7 and F8s. Read next and read previous. Any questions here?
Yeah, like dynamic read is like when we don't have a full key, right? Means whatever key we are passing. Like in what case we can use dynamic read?
Like you are doing an inquiry about multiple screens. User may give some date range, for example. Okay, user may give some date range and you want to see all the records in the date range. For example, user may give an order ID and you need to give all the order items for that.
Okay.
So you are in a situation where you may have a screen to display only one record. You may have a situation to display multiple records also.
Okay.
And user may go for next record also, right? You don't want to sit on the same record. You want to go to the next record, right?
Okay, yeah, right.
So whenever it is to go to the next record, it is only by process of read next only. By using the random read, the first one, you cannot do it. This one only gets one record to you and leave away. If user want to get next record, again you have to give the next key record value as well. But in the browse operation, user can put a pointer to one record. From there, he can put a read next and read previous to go forward or backward for some set of records.
Mhm. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
And this is again the logic of showing multiple records with a file. The logic of showing multiple records of a table will be little different. The paging logics for a file and a paging logic for a table will be different. On the other part, what you need to do at the end here, after getting the record, what you need from the file, you need to close the browse. So for that, simply write and exit css end br, give the file name and end exit. Exit like this. That's it. When you want to do a browse operation, generally these are used for inquiry screens. The browse operation, na, there is a drawback here. I mean, drawback in the sense they are restricted only for reading purpose, only for read purpose only. For what is the point here is using random read, I can get a record. Using these browse commands also, I can get a record. The primary difference here is the read command. When you get the data through a read command here, you can use it for update also. We can update the record also. That is the difference here. When you go for browse, the word itself is saying that it is not for update. So generally these are used for only the inquiry screens. The data will be there in that file, and whoever want to see the data, they can come and inquire in these files by using these commands. But if there is an update screen, then you may go and talk to this read command here. If you want to go for an update, then you need the read command help. If you want to just inquire, then the browse start br read next can be more than enough for us. Got it? Any questions here? Other parts are very easy, guys. Okay, these are the one which will be confusing you, but the other story, what is the other story we have is the write command. Write command, you know, guys, this is to keep one record only, guys, only one record to the cluster or the file. So how do you do? Simply get all the data in your variables, write exit css, write file, give the nickname here 8 characters, from, give the keyword from here and put it the layout. What is the layout here? And when you're writing the record, you may have the errors as well. So catch the response code, ws response code here. And this response code can be successfully as normal. That means record inserted here. But there is a case of dupe key. There is a situation of dupe key. That means you are trying to insert a duplicate record. Of course, as you know, KSDS is a key sequence. So the key frequency, guys, no duplicates allowed. So you get an error here. In that case, you simply send a message saying that record already exists. Record already exists. Like this, you send a message here. Other than this, if you are getting any other error, abandon the program. Now, when you go for rewrite command and delete command, generally online we try don't delete, guys. People will delete unnecessary things. So we will only not ask them to delete them. We do ask them to update some fields like some close indicators or delete indicators. We'll ask them to only update the field. The batch programs will update the data or delete the data from backend. From front end, we don't get the users to update, guys. Okay, we'll not try to other users to delete everything they can. So we don't allow that because sometimes the user may mistakenly delete some important things and we don't have any backups to catch up. Such cases, what is the case is we'll just ask the user to use an indicator, whether it is to be visible or whether it is to be removed like that. Backend, if it is set to delete, we'll delete by taking some backups and we delete it. In case if the user wants the same record again, then we can provide the backup to him and he can add it manually later. So delete is not the good option to provide for the front end guys. Some screens they allow, but not everything guys. But if you want to do an update or delete guys, okay, if we want to update, that means rewrite, we need to log the record guys. We need to log the record. This is for sure. If it is a batch program guys and you open a file in IO mode for update, you actually use the disposition as old to lock the file. But in here guys, in online systems, I want to lock a record guys. I want to lock a single record, because if I lock the file guys, all other users will be affecting. So I want to lock only single record. So for that, what you have to do is two steps. In step one, what you need to do is you need to use the read command with update option. You need to write the command like this: exit css read file, nickname of the file, the into data layout, the RID field, the key field, what you are trying to give the key field, and along with that you need to give update option here like this. Only then system will get this record, put it in the layout and log the record in the file. The second step is to update. The second step is to update. So for update, what you do, change the data in the variables. Okay, change the data in your program variables of the file and then write a command here. Okay, simple exit css write file, sorry, rewrite file nickname into, sorry, from the layout. RID field is not required. System knows which key you already locked, but you may need to catch the response code as well. You need to catch the response code to check whether the update is successful or not. Now in here, what happens is after the update, okay, after the update guys, the record will be unlocked. Record will be unlocked as well. So you don't need to unlock it separately. Once the rewrite is successful, the record will be unlocked as well. Same with the delete command also. Okay, just change the delete command as it is, but it will be the same. First you need to lock, then you need to update, lock and delete. Any questions here? Any questions here? Okay,
Anil, we
so
will be doing it in a loop. We are updating multiple records.
yeah, if required, we are updating multiple records. We'll be putting in a loop anyway. But as you know, now it is not we're gonna update multiple records through online.
Yeah, mostly we won't.
Mostly what happens now, we'll ask the user to update only one record at a time. And if we have provided a multi-record screen, then we will be writing logic to update all records. But that's very rare case. Very rare. I mean, I don't have proper example for that.
Oh,
Now, guys, when you done the program, done with the program, guys, it's go for compilation, regular compilation, guys, no special things. You get the load module here. Now in here, guys, if you want to do the setup and execution, okay. So far, guys, so far what you have is the map set. So you get a load for that, put it in PPT entry. You have a program now, which contains as well the load, put it a PPT entry. And each program will have its own transaction ID. So you need a PCT entry for that. Good. Now I have a file, guys. So there are two things to know. In the CACS command, you used a nickname. You mentioned in all the commands, you will mention a nickname. This is important. Take that nickname from the program and your actual file name. Okay, you'll be having your actual dataset name, that is IBM user dot t4 dot some ksds file, something like this. You have this one. What you need to do is you need to set up an FCT entry. You need to give an FCT entry here. File control table, guys, like you did at the RCT entry for table, you need a file control table here. What you need to do, simple, two things, guys. Cda define file, give the nickname here and the group. The nickname will be 8 characters, which is enough. Press enter. Don't go directly back. In here, there is a column where it will ask you vsum dataset name. Okay, there will be a place like plan. It will ask for your dataset name. Put that actual file name in here. Put the actual file name in here. That's how you connect the files in the online. You don't need to define an environment division. Directly in the program, all the commands you use only one file name, and that file name you connect in this particular way under FCT entry. But it's not enough. You need to give more details of the file. Recall length you need to mention. You need to mention the key length. How it is the key length. These all should map, guys. Okay, if you are not, file is of different length and your FCT is of different length, the files will not open. You know the drill. They all should be mapping properly. And more interestingly, guys, you need to tell when the file to be opened. Okay, the open time. The open time. That means when you want the file to be opened. There are two options, like you can tell when the program starts. Okay, as soon as the program starts, you can open the file, or you can tell that when your first request, that means any command, any file command runs at the first time, that time you open the file. Generally, we choose this one when to open the file. And more importantly, guys, you need to give the access to the operations. By default, guys, you will have access only for read only. Only read operation will be under yes. But what you need to do, you need to change all the other options. Browse will be no, read, write will be no, all this will be no, no, no. So what you need to do, based on your file screen access, you need to set them all yes. Then only system will provide you the access for doing that operation. It's like opening mode, guys. What type of open mode you want? What type of open mode you want? Check this one. Any questions?
Anil, but in program we won't be explicitly giving the open commands and all, right?
Not required. That's the reason we are telling here when to open the file. We told two options. Either you can open the file as soon as the program starts, or as soon as the first CSS command starts. You got it?
Yeah, okay.
So you don't need to give, I mean, you can provide, there are commands, open and close commands are there, but we don't give the commands.
Yeah, okay.
Any other question, guys? Okay, so you have theoretically points, guys. In here you have a point that we'll be using vsum file. It contains clusters. In that we'll be using ksds cluster because it is the only one can be accessed by the user friend. So I'll be creating a cluster with the keys details and other details required. Once the cluster is created, when I am writing the program, my primary knowledge is that I'll be only adding the copybook required, and then I'll be going for the CSS commands, not the COBOL statements. So you have the 5 operations to do: random, sequential, reading, writing, everything. But once it is done in the setup of execution, the first thing you need to do is an FCT entry. In the FCT entry, you need to use the file name which you give in the program and the actual details of the file in the input. Then you come back, okay, and do the install of the file name. Again, this is also first one time entry. If it is already there, it won't give successful second time. Okay, this is only one time entry, guys. If it is already there, then it's fine. If it is not there, you need to get successful there. If it is already there, you'll get saying that that file definition already exists. So tomorrow now we will see this part in practical. I have the file program, okay, that you can practice in your software also, but if I think it won't work any longer. Most probably by yesterday or today, your software will be keep on expiring. We're going to share these notes. Tomorrow we'll see the file concept. If I have a time, then I'll complete the last topic of queues as well. Probably I have not set up it in my system. The program, the last program, guys, the program may need some more steps. If I can set up and run, I'll show it directly. If not, I have a good recording for that, which I generally sell it for the channels. But yeah, I'll share that one for you so that you can see that at least. If not possible, okay, mostly I'll try to set up the what you say program in my other system. Some connections, some data setup to be done, guys, some table creations to be done. If I can set up in time, then I'll show that in tomorrow's class only, guys. Okay, any other questions?
So this week will be the last, Anil?
Yeah, last class for all.
Okay.
Probably actually it should be completed tomorrow only, but I'll see if I can set up, then good. If not, yeah, I'll share the recording for that. If I can set up now, it is easy to show you what I was doing in a technical part. If you see only the recording now, you'll get the understanding, but not the best way. Okay,
Okay.
right. See you then tomorrow.
Anil,
Anil,
I'm here.
yeah,
so Anil,
can you please take like little bit more about VSAM? Actually, I have read a lot of theory about VSAM, but when it comes to like practical and when the questions, whatever they ask in interviews related to control intervals and control area, I mean, mostly KSDS only people ask, but I'm not like 100% comfortable in VSAM. So, if you
Um,
have any study material or you can take like little bit some session on VSAM, that would be very helpful.
Study material, I have very good materials, but they all are like same what you got in Google already.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't take Visum sessions because it will take another a week and I don't have a week time slots. That's the problem. See, for training you 4 modules only it took 2 months for us. Now, if I add another module, it will take 2.5 months. So if I drag the course, no people will join. I need to finish the DB2 at least to the point so that most people get the jobs. And Visum is one of the case which sometimes you will never find anywhere. Sometimes you will find in your own project multiple times. So it's a very random situation. Out of 10, 1 person will fall into Visum.
Yeah, actually, I've given a couple of interviews where they were. I mean, mostly I have answered all the questions, but when it came to VSAM, then I wasn't able to like answer them properly. So practically, like whatever is on Google and whatever we do in projects, that is like completely different. So if any practical knowledge we can have, or anything like if you have any like any resources which you can share with us, that would be very great, helpful for us.
No, man, not possible from my end. I don't see anyone can put you Visum training like I can do it. And I don't have any recordings for Visum also. Probably I'll be if I have time, I'll create the course for Visum online training course, record it personally, and then I'll put it in my Udemy channel. But I don't get time, Vijay. It's very hard to me to find a time these days. And probably you are the last batch for the night also. I'm getting my office headache, office times are overlapping, and my meetings are overlapping. So most probably tomorrow would be the last batch for this time, 9:15. Very hard to find a time slot for your batch. Mostly it'll
Oh,
be coming batches will be only morning batches. and that too 1 or 2 batches because office are getting open now, so I'm not able to travel here and there and catch up my time. So I'm going back to my old method, only one batch per month.
Okay, Anil. But we can always talk to you for doubts and all, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Is
ping
that
me.
okay?
You have my WhatsApp number,
Yeah,
okay?
yes, I have. Yes.
Everybody, guys, okay, even you or anyone who want to talk to me now, ping me on WhatsApp. That is the best place where I reply back immediately. You ping me on Skype or you send an email or you give a missed call, guys. I don't see them at all. So you can always, guys, anytime, like you get a job, let me know. You are going for interview, let me know. You have some doubt, you let me know. Okay, but don't ask me to take a training, guys. That's not possible.
Yeah, Anil, I understand that. Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Thank you so much.
Right. See you then tomorrow. Your class is there tomorrow, guys.